Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be doing a stock analysis on UIpath. Now, if you don't know what UiPath is, it is an AI company that works in automating human tasks on a screen like this, where it teaches the AI to view the screen as we would. It's called AI vision, and then do the tasks. Just like this, say an AI wanted to be a trader and it had to put on indicators, then it would teach it to go into indicators and take on whatever indicators it wanted. Very interesting at the moment. And I really like this because I've personally worked in the finance sector where we have a lot of manual tasks, and I think they could easily be replicated by a robot. But they have not been invented yet because sometimes it is just a bit off. But my favorite one is that is UiPath, and I just bought some stocks today. Now, if we take a look at the graph, let me just make it bigger for you. You can see it hasn't really been performing that well. It came on the stock in 2021 and it has just been a shit show ever since, to be honest. But then again, some AI stocks have been publicly traded and they started off with the IPO at way too high, which is quite unfortunate. But I look at this as an opportunity to purchase. Now, as you can see here recently, let me just make the graph a bit smaller again. Recently, we had this death cross here and it has been falling ever since. And as you can see, it is still falling. It was all the way down in just about 9.7. Now the RSI in this recently has also just been quite poor. As you can see, it is primarily trading down here in the lower channel. We do see some spikes here. As you can see, we do see a bit of trading. And I think the reason for that is, as I showed you earlier, basically everyone in this stock has lost money at this point. Now, some might say that's a bad thing, but if you're not in the stock, that's a great thing because that means everybody else except you has a would make sense for them to purchase it now that it is slower, so that their average cost is lower, so that once it increases, if it increases, they actually earn money. Because most of the people who bought above this, they would have to had it rise at least 100% to make money. So say you bought 10 stocks at $20 and then buy 10 stocks at $10, your average price for a stock would be $15, and then it would only have to rise 15% and so on and so forth. So there is quite a lot of potential for holders already to purchase into the stock, which is why I like it quite a lot. But also because I just checked out what they make, and just imagine, say an insurance company, for example, which has a lot of employees who have to go through cases, and somebody says, hey, I want this replaced because I got my bicycle stolen or my car broken into. If you can automate every single process using a company like UiPath, which is incredibly far ahead of their competition, that's going to be quite interesting. Now, their main competitor is Microsoft, so that is something to be worried about, but I prefer companies that specialize within one field instead of a lot of fields like Microsoft. Now, if you take a look at some of their earnings, as you can see, it was actually quite positive recently, and they made money in all the quarters in Q4, no, in 2024, so that is quite nice. And as you can see down here in the annuals, they increased their revenue every single year, which I like. This means progress, and as you can see, their margins also increase. Of course, they did have a minus 58% here, which is quite insane, but ever since then it has increased. And now for quarters, they did actually have 2 quarters in both a Q4 and 23 and Q4 and 24 where they actually made money instead of lose money. Now, a new company like this that is in the AI and the software business is expected to lose money. So yeah, because simply they need a lot of revenue, a lot of customers to it before it makes sense. And I know that they're launching a new UI reader or a UI AI in 5 days, I believe it is. It's quite interesting. And as you can see, of course, it doesn't pay dividends yet, but then they would have to make actual money for that to happen. Now, the performance of this stock has been quite awful. As I showed you, just look at this. We have been in minus 4 out of 5 years. Now, we did see 100% increase in 23, which is quite insane, but just look at this. Quite poor at the moment. Now, the reason I want to highlight this today is because after we had the earnings and you see it bottomed out here, is also it has been starting to regain a bit. As you can see, traded up 0.5% in the market, and then aftermarket is post market it is still up, which I like quite a lot. Also because I just like the product behind it. Then the technicals, it's quite bad. As you can see, it's purely a sell. Well, an oscillators for a month we do have buy, but that's because we have 2 buy signals and 1 sell, and it's 6 neutral. But the moving averages is 8 sell, no neutrals or buys. As you can see, it is just pure sells. So that's quite poor. But momentum in the oscillators is a buy, and is as well as the MACD levels. And momentum is something as the primary oscillator I value is the momentum, as I'm what you call a momentum and technical trader. So I might just wait to see it gain even more momentum just before, and if it increases that, we might see a golden cross. I think if we see golden cross, it would have to be around right around middle of April, maybe give it a month before these would cross, because as you can see, there's still quite far between these moving averages, and there just isn't that much volume in the stock, as you can see here. Volume, which isn't that much, which means that there isn't a lot of trades being executed in this stock. Well, as you can see, it is also a relatively small company. Now, if the analytics is quite decent, we have 3 strong buys, 20 hold, 1 sell, 1 strong sell. Now, I do like that it is a lot of hold, but that is also reiterating what I was telling you earlier. The fact that so many people, basically every single one in this stock, has lost money at this point, mean that the people who want to hold is insanely high. Instead of just taking the tax cut, why not just hold in case they actually make it great? And I really think they do. There is, in the lowest point ever, it was at 9.7, I believe it was. So of course we are a bit up from that now. We are trading at, what is it, 10.8, and as you can see, the price target is 12. Now if we hit 12, we are definitely gonna see a golden cross with before that, and if we get momentum, 12 is almost 20% up, as you can see, 11.4% up. So quite interesting at the moment. I really like this stock, and I am gonna purchase some stock if they can get a bit more momentum and it doesn't have these big gaps. So very interesting stock at the moment. If you have any other AI stocks or similar stocks you want me to analyze, please don't forget to leave them in the comment sections, and don't forget to like and subscribe.